Good evening and welcome. Welcome to this Hump Day edition of the Angela Ray Show. I hope that you all have had a great day. We had some technical difficulties, more than you could ever begin to imagine, probably starting about an hour and a half ago and then leading up to showtime. We had some technical difficulties behind the scenes, but we are here and we are happy and excited. As you can see, I am wearing my University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill gear tonight because I'm excited to be interviewing a fellow alumni of the greatest institution on earth. And if you don't agree with me, fight me. Okay, that's all I got to say. For everyone who will be catching this broadcast on the replay, thank you so much for hanging out. I go back and look at your comments. For those of you who are catching it late, and I appreciate the support. For those of you who are joining us live tonight, go ahead and tag someone who may enjoy the broadcast. We're going to be talking about college basketball and a little bit of sports in general, as well as sharing the broadcast, especially if you are on Facebook. This week, in lieu of the Ray of Motivation moment, I have been highlighting poets in honor of National Poetry Month. We don't have a poet for tonight, so we're getting ready to slide right on in to the main interview on tonight. So, as I mentioned, I have a fellow alum. He is a national champion, a part of the 1993 UNC basketball team that won that very interesting game that I definitely remember watching from Carmichael Auditorium. But these days, he is helping the next generation of basketball players at West Oak High School. Please help me welcome Ed Geth. Ed, thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
Hey, thank you for having me, Miss Angela Bassett Ray.
Oh, see, you know what? No. You ain't gonna put me out there like that. Like I'm not making that comparison because I mean she is the GOAT, okay? Her and Viola and Meryl Streep, I put them in the class all by themselves. I appreciate the compliment though.
Right.
What's
How you
up,
doing?
Garland? I see this is your first time joining. Thank you so much for being
Okay.
on the broadcast. So, Ed, it has been a long time, like a long time since we.
Datas. It's been a while.
I know, right? I
Hey,
was
I like
I
the
was
shirt
cute.
you got on. I was thinking about rocking one too. I was thinking
You should
kind of
have.
I should have. But yeah, I like it. I wear it with pride. Bleed blue.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think those who are not a part of the greatness that is
Don't get it.
Chapel Hill, they don't get.
They
That's
think we
it.
crazy. They do. They think we crazy. They
They
don't
don't
get
understand.
it.
They don't understand. They don't know.
Yeah.
So, what have you? I know you're coaching high school basketball right now, and
Right.
you call me Angela Bassett, but I know that you had a little run into acting as well because we did some things together back in the
We
day.
did
Okay,
back in the day. We did a few shows back in the day.
yeah. But aside from that, what else have you been up to?
Well, my passion has always been basketball. Like I was blessed to play at, like you said earlier, the greatest university as far as anything really, but basketball for sure. To play for one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. So I just had a passion for it, but I also have a passion for mentoring young people. So the fact that I get to coach basketball and work in a school setting and mentor young men as well as coach a game that I love, I feel like I don't have to go to work. I feel like this is a passion. I'm walking in my calling. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. Like outside of the shows we did, that was a little bug I had for a little while. And then I just got right into coaching at the high school level for about 4 years. Started at Hillside High School in Durham. Then I went to Southern Durham High School. Then I got in college basketball on the women's side and coached at Wofford, coached at Marshall University in West Virginia, coached at North Carolina Central, who my man Lavelle Moulton has been getting a lot of pub time. Really happy for that brother. I was blessed to be there when he was there, watching him build it up. And after that, got back into high school basketball because college basketball is taxing. It takes a lot of family time away. and I needed to be closer with my kids, and so I got back into high school basketball and coached at Dorman High School at first in South Carolina, girls, and now I coach at West Oak High School on the boys' side.
Wow. So
That's a quick rundown.
it's basketball. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
reminds me how you just described, and I'm not saying you don't have as many years as Roy Williams, but you know, I remember listening to Roy talk about his retirement and how he was like, I've always coached. Like even when I wasn't coaching basketball, when I was young, I was getting people together, putting teams together. Didn't even realize that's what I was doing. So he was like,
Right,
I'm a little scared because all I
right.
know is coaching. And it sounds like
Coaching.
for
Yep.
you, what you know is basketball, basketball, basketball,
Yeah.
basketball.
I didn't
How
even know I didn't even know I wanted to be a coach. Coach Smith,
okay.
being the genius that he is, actually put it to my attention because the reason why I know I didn't want to be a coach, I remember playing, and we had a late game from we were always flying in from somewhere, getting in at 1 and 2 in the morning. We dropping off our laundry to the equipment manager, and then we're heading out. But as we're heading out, I see the assistants, making coffee and going to the office. And I asked them, I said, hey, where you going, coach? You ain't going home? He said, yeah, we got to go watch film of this game, and then we got to break down film for the next game of who you guys play. And I look at my watch. I'm like, oh, yeah, nah. That's not for me. And lo and behold, Coach Smith and Coach Guthridge paid attention to how I worked at camps, and they saw how I worked with kids, and they were the ones that put that bug in me and tell me I had a gift. And coming from them, if they tell you you can coach, you must have something. And once I started, I just fell in love, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
Now, you just mentioned Coach Smith, Coach Dean E. Smith, for those of you who don't know,
I got
as
it.
well as Coach Guthridge. Arguably one of the best to ever coach the game of college
Mm-hmm.
basketball.
Got about it.
Looking back on that experience, how did that change your life?
Oh man, this is interesting. I don't think when you come in as a freshman, I don't think you realize, and I don't know if you have any other of my fellow classmates listen to this, they'll vouch. As a freshman, I don't think you appreciate the gifted man that Coach Smith is, because I think he mentally tests you as a freshman. He's sort of tearing you down. That's a bad way to say it, but that's what he's doing. He's breaking you down a little bit because you come in, you think of your hot stuff. You probably wear McDonald's All-American, or you wear the best player in your state or best player in your hometown, or whatever the case may be. You really thought you were the man. And now he has to get you thinking team basketball. So everything you do is wrong your freshman year. I mean, everybody, we used to call it the freshman blues. Everybody would go through it. Everybody would have their day. And the upperclassmen, they kind of know what's going on. So you're kind of getting embarrassed because they know what's going on and you don't. And then he's riding you pretty good. He never cursed, which probably made it worse because he made you he made you feel really small. Because if you curse, I don't know. I guess you could blow that off, but not. He was very specific and telling you what you can't do, what you're doing wrong, and he would like just chew on you for like minutes, and that felt like hours. And then he'd ask a question, and what were you thinking? And you'll try to tell him what you're thinking. Then he'll be like, "Don't answer me." And now you're like, "That's your question. I don't get it." And then he'll chew on you another time, and he'll ask you a question, and you're looking at him, staring at him blank because you just got chewed out. And then he'll say, "Answer me." So now you're just all messed up. So you don't appreciate them, but then as you get uh, more ingrained, depends on how fast you pick it up. Some freshmen pick it up really fast, but most freshmen have a hard time. And then by your sophomore and junior year, and you realize, wow, he's just making me mentally tough. Because when you're in a game, when you got to win a game at Duke, or you got to win a tough game at NC
With them
State,
Cameron crazies
right?
like that right
Exactly.
there in your face?
You have to be mentally sharp. You really do. You can't be distracted. And so outside of his gifted basketball mind of knowing X's and O's, he knows how to mentally prepare you so that physically you can perform.
Wow. I never had besides being like way up in the nosebleed seat at the Smith Center, I never had an
Yeah,
opportunity to meet him live. I've
right.
seen Roy Williams a few times live,
Mm-hmm,
but never got an
mm-hmm.
opportunity to get too up close and personal with the late Coach Smith. But
Right.
indeed, he is legendary, and his legacy lives on. I mean, as we look at the newest head coach at
Correct.
UNC right now in
Mm-hmm,
Hubert
mm-hmm.
Davis. Now, 1993, you
Right.
all are playing Michigan,
Mm-hmm,
and this game is going down to the wire. Of
mm-hmm.
course, we know the mistake that happened.
Absolutely.
But I'm
It
blaming
is.
on
It is.
it
It
is
is
what
what
it
it
is. It is
is.
what it is.
Sorry, Michigan fans.
Um,
By the way,
and
I like y'all.
I know a lot of Michigan fans. I know a lot of people from Detroit, but it's okay. That
Right.
was just one game.
Mm-hmm.
Walk me through what was going through your mind leading up to that call,
Okay.
subsequently, foul shots, and then
That's
ultimately the win.
on a photographic memory. I'll never forget almost every detail of that game, but definitely the part you're talking about. So let me paint a picture. So I could do a justice show on Carolina stories.
Okay.
Justice show on Carolina, but I'm not gonna take up all your time. So right before um, that call, my friend Pat Sullivan is at the line. Um, he makes his first free throw. He misses the second. And I think that puts us up two. Okay. So Chris Webber gets the rebound and he's looking to outlet it to Jalen Rose. Derek Phelps, who you know, very smart defender, jumps the pass. So just as Chris Webber's about to pass it, he reads that Derek Phelps is jumping the pass and he slides his foot. He travels. Like, I, obvious, right in front of the ref. You can look at the tape all day. They can argue me up and down. It's right there. So what's going through our head, the whole bit, you watch the whole bench, we are jumping up and down like he traveled. Ref, blow the whistle. So the bench probably would have got a tech, but I think the ref recognized that he missed it. And I guess it was too late. So now, because Chris Webber traveled, I kind of being that I've coached for many years, I can almost know kind of what he's thinking. At this point, he probably panicked because he knows he traveled, so he's dribbling fast. So and like I hope the ref don't cause it, and he's booking it down court. Now Chris Webber coming full speed is a little scary, but he won't in the best control. I think he was just trying to get the ball up court, either get it out his hands or set up a play. But another thing Coach Smith allowed to do, if you have smart defenders, and George Lynch was a very smart defender, he read that, Chris Webber looked shaky with the ball and they're double teaming him. So when the double team comes and he's in the corner, he has nowhere to go. Like that's prime trap area. Like it was the trap couldn't have been more perfect. And we were a very smart defensive team. So I'm not saying if he doesn't call timeout, we win, but I'm saying at that point his options were limited. Somebody on the bench, and this is you can look back on the story that they tell on the story of the Fab Five, tells him to call timeout. They like there, you see it. They're like, call timeout, timeout. And he hears it, and then he calls timeout. So when he calls timeout, I'm still nervous, but I'm not a coach. But Coach Ford, the assistants, each assistant usually has something they're supposed to be monitoring. Well, Coach Ford must have been monitoring the timeouts of the other team and their timeout. Because all of a sudden, he's like, yes, yes. He's going crazy. We're like, how is he going crazy over timeout? Like, what is he doing? So then I think he leans and tells Coach
So you
Guthrie,
all weren't aware. You didn't
no, we
realize.
didn't, no. We're
Okay.
into the game. We have no idea that they're out of timeouts. Coach Ford is explaining to Coach Guthridge. And then I think whoever the closest player was heard it, and then they turned us. They don't have no more timeouts. They don't have no more. And we're like, yes. But then we realized we still got to make the free throws. But now we're celebrating, but we're like, yes, yes, yes. Because now that's a tech. It's out of their hands, our possession. And it's 30 something, it's less than a minute, 40 something, 30 something seconds. That I don't remember the detail, but it's under a minute, way under a minute. And from then on, it's, the Donald Williams free throw show.
How about that? How about
Yeah,
that?
I knew he was going to make those. He had been hot all game. He had 25. I said, yeah, it's icing. He going to make these. So he makes the 2 free throws. Then we get the ball back. We get it into him. They foul him immediately. He makes 2 more. Man, it's at that point, it's elementary. It was really nothing they could do. That they were dejected, and they realized, that pretty much cost the game or gave us the win. So,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
It's interesting you mentioned George. I had a chance to interview George last year.
Really,
So yeah,
my
and
God.
I asked him about that moment. He was like, I heard time. He said, I heard it. He was like, there's
Mm-hmm.
no question. Or I was on the basketball court and I heard time out. So
Yep.
yeah, so for the Michigan fans, we won't belabor that moment. Um, but it is, I think for those of us who were watching the game, and one of our fellow alum, Dr. Tawana Feemster, just posted a comment saying she was jumping up and down too, like we all were jumping up and down as
Well,
well.
shout
I,
out to
I
Wanda. What's
remember,
up, girl?
yeah, and so it's just one of those iconic moments. I mean, obviously, we've had other championships, especially under Coach Roy Williams. But
Mm-hmm.
now let's fast forward. It's
Okay.
a new day in
Yep.
Carolina basketball. First of all, when you heard the news, did you think it was an
Mm.
April Fool's joke that Coach Williams was retiring?
I did. It's funny you say that. I did. Somebody sent it to me, and I don't remember if it was one of my classmates. My best friend is Mactar Jai, who played.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah,
I remember
he
him.
he sent it to me, and I thought it was April Fool's. Like we was both wondering, is this real? And I was like, that's April Fool's. No way that he's no. So I waited and then when I saw on it, because I watch ESPN and Fox Sports every morning. I'm a true sports guy. So I see it on the ticker. And I'm like, boy, that's going extra far for April Fool's joke. Is somebody punking ESPN? This is crazy. And then I'm friends with a few coaches that are on the staff right now, so I send a text, is this real? And they text me back, they're like, yeah, coach, this is real. And I'm like, what? Wow. So no, I was completely shocked and surprised. I had, anytime your program is struggling, you're always going to hear all kind of rumors. Fire Roy needs to go, and the next year he wins a national championship. So it comes with the job. I've been there. I've humble brag. I've been coach of the year in my region, and we lose a game that we're not supposed to. It's somebody going to question, well, does he really know what he's doing? I mean, it comes with the job. So, hearing that and actually, you know, believing that Coach Williams was ready to retire, you wouldn't have put that together. I mean, we know how much he loves North Carolina. We know how much he puts into it. But, all said and done, I mean, he is 70 years old. I mean, that's that's a long time to be doing it. And, he has the right. He has done enough that he should be able to go out on his own terms whenever he wants to. So I salute him. I respect him for what he's done. He has accomplished a lot. He has carried on the family tradition of North Carolina. I mean, he has what he called family reunions for the basketball team. We'll come back. He'll pick a football game, and we hang out for a weekend, and we go to a game, and he has all kind of activities. and it's a beautiful thing. I mean, he always makes sure that he reaches out to all of us and make each other aware of what we're doing. And it's truly a family atmosphere. I can't say anything negative about how Roy Williams has conducted himself with the program and bridged the gap with the Dean Smith players, the Matt Doherty players, the Roy Williams players. We're all like tight knit.
Well, that is good to hear. So
Mm-hmm.
it is now a new era. Hey, Cassandra, I see you saying hello, checking in tonight. It's a new era. And, uh, I feel like Hubert Davis is in a unique position, having
Mm-hmm.
played for one of the great and
Correct.
then coached alongside one of the greats.
Correct.
Um, but
Yep.
last week, at the end of his press conference, there
Mm.
was one comment that he said that
Mm-hmm.
got amplified more than I think that he or anyone else could have ever imagined. Because I know
Right.
there were memes, it was trending on
Mm.
Twitter. As they
Gee.
say, Black Twitter had a field day with
Black
it.
would have had a field day with him.
Black
Shade Room got
Twitter,
him. Man,
yes,
I
everybody. I was
think
like,
it was Donkey
really?
of the Day. Charlemagne the God got him.
Oh,
Uh,
I didn't even see that.
oh yeah, Charlemagne.
Oh,
Charlemagne got him. So like really got him. It was. It was. I was answering my phone for probably 15 hours straight. It was. it was. It was crazy. It was crazy times. It made the roller coaster of him being put in, and for us as a Black community to celebrate him and to embrace what he would bring uh, to a new era. It put a little bit of shade on it, and made it not what the inauguration we expected it to be. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Now, I personally know Hubert Davis, and I'm not going to uh, dismiss anybody's feelings the way they feel about the comment. All I can do is speak to my personal relationship with him. I know he's a great guy. He is a true character guy. He's a devout Christian. He's a loving family man. He's a true, genuine brother. He is, however, going to have to, you know, mop this up a little bit because I know, I mean, I can't speak for him, but I kind of know what his intention was probably to be. I think when you are a person like him who wants to love everybody and make everybody feel, welcome and at home, in his mind, I guess he felt he was supporting his wife. I think he felt he was trying to beat people to the punch before somebody said, "Oh, he's a Black coach with a white wife." I think he was maybe trying to jump it a little early, but you know, um, he probably should have just let that question be asked and handle it when it was asked, when it was time to answer that question. Answer that question, because that wasn't. I don't think that was the question that was being posed. But again, I don't think he, in no way, shape, or form, is trying to slight anybody or is trying to um, do a dance for certain people, as they say. I think he was really just trying to be inclusive of everybody, and it was just executed. You know, I don't want to say wrong, but it was an error. He probably could have handled that better, but I vouch for the guy. I feel like he's a good hire, because he basketball wise, he's going to do right. Uh, as far as the program, he's going to do it the right way. Um, I think he's going to be a great recruiter because he despite being up there in age, he's very relatable. He doesn't think he's better than anybody. He's a very humble guy, and I think he'll handle this situation humbly. I think he will own his mistake and he will
Mhm.
do his best to correct it.
Yeah, it's I was so glad that other things started to dominate the news cycle because at one
Yes.
point, because I
Yep.
am connected to so many Tar Heels and to so many basketball fans from other schools. It was like I had to leave Facebook for a day or so because I was like, really?
Yeah,
Like, let
yeah,
it go. Like, it's
yeah, yeah,
day
yeah, yeah.
free. So, but
Yeah.
other things
I mean,
started,
they have a right to express what they feel. I just felt like the climate, the way things are, I think black people want you to really, really display your blackness. And I think that means a lot of different things for different people. And people do it in different ways. And I think he will be able to display his in a way that we will appreciate. And the main thing is, will he do the job? And that I think he will.
well, well said, well said. Well, as we begin to wrap up,
Yep.
I'm just curious, aside from that matter,
Mm-hmm.
if you were to give him advice, particularly as pertains to coaching,
Mm-hmm.
obviously big shoes to fill. Obviously,
Huge,
all eyes are on
huge,
him
huge.
for a number of reasons. Number one, he is the first black. Number
He is.
two, because regardless of whether he was the first or not, it could have been someone else in those shoes. It could have been Wes Miller, but
Could have
all
been.
eyes were going to be on that next coach.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What advice would you give him?
Well, far be it from me to give a guy who's done as much as him any advice. However, if I'm being asked to counsel, I would say the biggest thing is to understand the new grasp of recruiting, understand the new cycle of young kids, what what they think, how they operate. I mean, let's be honest, this is a lot of one and done errors. And until
Yeah.
that changes, you'll have to know the pulse of these kids coming in. Um, Not going to get a lot of time developing, even though it is your job to develop them. So you got to get them up to speed as quickly and as uh, possible, however you do it. Um, I would say, and I know he'll do this, is just always keep the connection with the Carolina family. I think that's really, really big of how we at North Carolina, I don't know any other school that just does it the way we do it. When it comes to the caretaking of the program, we always make sure there's a next coach or next uh, uh, leader available to take the helm, and that comes with just making sure you're paying attention to who's out there. We have a lot of Carolina coaches in the coaching tree. We have a lot of coaches coaching high school, college basketball. All of those people want to see North Carolina do well. So as long as he keeps everything in the family, I see a player that can help, or we know somebody that could be of use to North Carolina, uh, we're more than happy to lend a helping hand. So, and I know he'll do that. I mean, he's very dialed in, and those are two things that I would probably counsel him with.
Well, Coach Ed Geth, because when you were coaching at Central, I believe for a while, I don't know if I told you this or if I was just thinking, and I was like,
Mhm.
I need to come work out with the women's team because that would whip me in shape very quickly. I never played ball, but I remember going out for the women's basketball team, and it was like my body changed in a week, like in a week's
Mhm.
time.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Running
oh yeah,
suicides and all
oh
that
yeah.
stuff. So I was
You're
like,
you're
I
you're,
should,
you're
I
high
should go
level.
coach with.
And
Yeah, I should go coach with
it's
Ed.
even a step up now. We got paid full time strength coaches, so they're seeing a strength coach in the morning, then they're seeing a nutritionist in the afternoon, and then they
Wow.
got their coaches working them out. After that, I mean, you get a full total body change just from playing college athletics.
Wow. So maybe I do need to go work out with somebody for a little while. So now Lathan, I heard, worked out with some teams when she was preparing for Love and Basketball. So yeah,
Yeah,
I love the game. I
yeah,
never really
yeah.
wanted
You've
to
always
play,
been
but
right.
yeah, that'll be enough. Just
Yeah.
just work out a little bit. Get my speed up, being able to dribble. Go up on the blacktop, let somebody underestimate me because they looking like, oh, she a female, oh, she's short. Nah,
Right.
you don't know what I got
You don't
in
know what
my
I got.
wheelhouse,
You don't know the work I to
you
put in.
know.
I to put in work.
Right. Well, Ed, thank you so much for taking the
Mhm.
time to hang out
No
on the
problem.
Angela Ray Show.
Any,
Definitely, it's been way too long. We got to catch up,
we
when it's
do.
safe to do
We,
so.
listen, I'm proud of you and all that you accomplished. I want the audience to make sure y'all remember this name. Y'all gonna see her in some bigger and brighter light. She's been doing this since I can remember. Okay, it won't no joke that I called her Angela Bassett Ray. We've been calling her that for a long time. So keep doing what you're doing. Proud of you.
Definitely. I appreciate that. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, that is it for this Hump Day edition of the Angela Ray Show. As always, I would like to remind you of Ray of Motivation number 54. Cleaning a mirror does not change the person who is reflected in it. Until next time, I encourage you all to go out and be the change. Have a great evening, and I will see you all tomorrow night.